What the deal? What is the deal? What is the deal? I'm gonna let some of y'all get up in here real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let some of y'all get up in here real quick. We got some stuff to talk about. 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 So let some of y'all get up in here real quick. Some of y'all get up in here real quick. There you go. Let some of y'all get up in here real quick. Make sure that like button when you come up in here. What's the deal? What is the deal? What is the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? Let some of y'all get up in here real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let some of y'all get up in here real quick. You know what I'm saying? Already. Merry Christmas. Y'all, let's talk some football already. Yeah, let's talk some football. Merry Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Merry Christmas. You know what I'm saying? But we about to have holiday football with the Houston Texans. I think this is about to be a show. Honestly, like I feel like it's gonna be a show. And them boys breaking out the H-Town blue. I ain't gonna lie, that was a surprise because I really thought they was gonna come out there and they're gonna pull out in the all red. I thought they're gonna pull out in the red and white. I really did. I thought they're gonna pull out in the red and white because we normally last year we wore the red jerseys twice. We wore the red and white against the Steelers, then wore the all red against Jacksonville, and we wore our color rush once. I was against was it against Arizona? I think it was against Arizona. So I thought, you know what I'm saying, that we was gonna come out there in the battle red twice and the H-Town blue. I thought we only gonna see the H-Town blue once a year, and not even because of blue with the whole Tennessee. That I just thought that they were gonna pull out the all red. Well, not the all red. They're gonna pull out the red jersey because going into this, I know a lot of people favorite jerseys was the red jerseys, but hey, they came out there with that blue. That's why I had to throw on that. I had to throw on the H-Town blue jersey myself. You know what I'm saying? I had to throw it on myself. Hey, I had to throw. Hey, I'm with it. I wanted to see, especially being on Netflix. Like it's not a prime time; it's a nationally televised game, and I do want to see. I do want this to get some of that shine. I would love it to be on a Sunday night game, or a Monday night game, or a Thursday night game because that production mostly Sunday night on NBC. But I think it's a home game. Netflix gonna see how Netflix go. But a nationally televised game. So basically, all of jerseys have been nationally televised because you got to see the home jerseys when we played Dallas. You got to see the away jerseys both against the Jets and go both on nationally televised games. You got to see the battle red jersey against Detroit on that game. So and so now you're gonna get to see this one on Christmas when everybody's sitting back watching. Because by the time we play at 3:30. So by the time everybody already opened up gifts, everybody eat. So you around watching TV. You around watching TV by the time we play. So hey, maybe if people might be transporting, going from one house to the next. But nationally televised game, color rush jersey, H-Town blue, however you want to phrase it. That's what we're going to see. They say pulling up in the candid blue. We're going to pull up the candid blue against the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm going to talk about exactly what that mean. But before we get into that, hey, shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Texan fans, why y'all keep victimizing CJ? Y'all gave him no accountability. Oh, victimizing. I thought you said, something. Y'all gave no accountability to this year. Yes, there is some stuff surrounding him that played out a part, but him as a whole being elite, no sir. I disagree with that. Shout out Chris for the super chat. I know you're an Indianapolis fan, but I disagree with that. Yes, CJ's having a tough year. Absolutely, there's stuff going around. There's stuff going around this year that's not of his control. Offensive line issues, personnel issues, not weapons, play calling specifically. More importantly, I feel like not able to help a good running game, even though you have a running back that's almost reaching 1,000 yards. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. I just disagree with that. Yes, he is having a sophomore slump. I get that. But when you watch him play and you actually watch him play, he makes some throws and it's not like here or there. Like he makes some plays that puts him out. I don't know if he's not elite yet. He's still in the second season of his NFL career. So yeah, I don't think that he's the elite quarterback. The elite is only a very few, but he's on that trajectory to be an elite quarterback by season's end and next year's end. Shout out to shout out to Trey for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. But it went away. But appreciate too. Shout out to boy Trey for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Shout out Chris once again for the super chat love. He ain't Mahomes, he ain't Allen, he ain't Golf Burrow, so just stop. Golf has 1,000 yards more with, I guess, at 472 attempts, and CJ. Oh, that's how many attempts. He has 1,000 yards more with 472 attempts, and CJ has 495. How does that happen? And he's not even like Jordan, a 98% QB rate rookie year. Jordan Love. I'm pretty sure you're talking about Jordan Love. Jordan Love didn't play as a rookie, so Jordan Love didn't have a nine. Jordan Love didn't have a Jordan Love didn't have a 98% rookie year. Because Jordan Love didn't play his rookie year because Love sat on the bench with like 2-3 years because Aaron Rodgers was still there. So he didn't have a rookie season to have 98%. So I don't know where you got that from. No, is he? Well, one, Mahomes ain't been playing well this year anyway. Yes, is he to the level of Josh Allen the way Burrow's been playing? I had Burrow, even though Burrow beat him, even though he beat Burrow last year, I had Burrow above CJ last year. And again, you're talking about guys that are in their Mahomes is in his seventh year. Allen's in his sixth year. Uh, Burrow is in his fifth year. Uh, Golf is in his eighth or ninth year because Golf came out before Golf came out first. Oh, Jalen Daniels. I thought Jalen Daniels. I'm pretty sure it said yeah, you put Jordan, but I guess you meant Daniel. Shout out Chris for the super chat love. You meant Jalen Daniels. Jalen Daniels in a better offense as far as like he again somebody who's not a rookie play caller, a guy former head coach and Cliff Kingsbury. All the smoke I want to give about Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury one was a play caller in college who led John Heisman at Texas A&M. He was the OC at Texas A&M, and also he was the quarterback coach at U of H with Case Keenum. When Case Keenum became the all-time winning quarterback in college football, he was his quarterback coach. He was the OC at A&M. He was the OC at A&M when the Aggies when Johnny Manziel won the Heisman. Then also he became a head coach for Texas Tech. Then became a head coach for Arizona. So he's played. He has a lot of things under his as far as calling plays. Not to mention he played football. He was a quarterback himself. Unlike Bobby Slowick, that was a PFF guy, a stat guy. He's a PFF guy, and he was on the defensive side of the ball as well. He started off coaching as a defensive-minded coach. So he's only been coaching offense. He's been a Texas OC for 2 years. He's probably only been coaching offense 4 to 5 years total, and 2 of those years are here in Houston. So that's a huge learning curve to be to a young quarterback, and played phenomenal last year. And I think they actually kind of overhyped Bobby a little bit because of the way that CJ played last year, and because of the way some of the weapons played and stuff like that as well. Um, Again, I'm not sitting up here going to give CJ pass because CJ's done a lot of stuff wrong this year, like interceptions. Some of them just bad throws and bad decisions, and some of the completion percentage is just him trying to get rid of the football so he won't get sacked as well. And it's completely similar to his completion percentage last year as well. So I don't think it's that huge of a deal. But again, you're talking about guys who are most of the guys you talked about outside Jalen Daniels are veterans. It's been several years. You're talking about Mahomes is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, been to 4 Super Bowls, been to a Super Bowl. Burrow's been to a Super Bowl, 2 AFC Championship games. Josh Allen's been to a couple AFC Championship games. Lamar Jackson is a 2-time league MVP. So we talking about guys that got a lot of pelts and belts on their wall. So it's completely different, completely different. Shout out Chris once again for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that one. There you go. Second most sacked quarterback in the NFL, 87%. 32nd QB, 32nd QBR, 60%. Oh, I guess you're saying 30% in the league. Completion rate, at 31st in the league. CJ, boy, like stop. Like again, I know the angle that you're getting at. I know the angle. I know the angle that you're getting at, bro. CJ, you can if you feel like that, you feel like that. But CJ definitely is a good quarterback and is there's been some things going on this year, but he's nowhere near like Trevor Lawrence level or who else? Like another back, just a quarterback that you know is not good. CJ still will get paid, and the Texans will feel comfortable with paying him. Now, do I think he will? If he continues to keep playing like this, will he be like the highest paid quarterback? Nah, but he will get paid, and the Texans won't feel like a what's the name of the play for the Giants, a Daniel Jones situation, or like I said, or a Trevor Lawrence situation. But let's get to the numbers because the Houston Texans will take on the Baltimore Ravens. Houston Texans 9-6. Baltimore Ravens. As of right now, the Texans can't drop no longer than the 4th seed. They're trying to get at least the 3rd. I think mathematically they can get the 2nd seed still. I think because they do have the tiebreaker over Buffalo. So I think mathematically they can still get it. If I could be wrong. Like I very well could be wrong, but I think yeah. No, they can't. No, they can't. Mathematically eliminated from the 2nd record. Okay, that's what I thought. So mathematically, so no, the highest they can get is the 3rd. The light button, no. More. That's the highest to go now. Baltimore has the 5 seed because they're not winning the division now. Uh, um, Baltimore can be the 4 seed. Baltimore can even the 3 seed. So Baltimore has a lot to play for as well. I think Baltimore has clinched their division already. I mean, it has clinched the playoff spot if I'm not mistaken. But we're gonna talk into this game. CJ on the season has thrown 3,492 yards at 63.3 completion percentage, has 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, has a quarterback rating of 87.7, been sacked 47 times, like Chris said, second most online. If I'm not mistaken, I think Caleb Williams in the Chicago Bears. Joe Mixon has 967 yards, averaging 4.2 yards per carry, averaging 80 yards per game with 11 touchdowns. The only receiver to talk about, especially under circumstances, is Nico with 909 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaging with 90 yards a game. Now Lamar Jackson, who I think is on an MVP, yeah, I mean he won the MVP last year. This year he's playing way better. This year should be his MVP. Like this year, if it wasn't for Josh Allen, it probably would be his MVP. Yeah, he's thrown for 6.9 complete percentage for 87 yards. So 3,787 yards, 37 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. Has only been sacked 22 times, has a quarterback rating of 120.6, and also rushed for 765 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now he has lost 5 fumbles, so a total of 9 turnovers. Still less than CJ's completely interceptions, not to mention fumbles that he so that's the type of season that Lamar Jackson's having. Derrick Henry on the ground. Again, I was wrong on Derrick Henry. I'll be the first to admit I was wrong on Derrick Henry. This year Derrick Henry has rushed for 1,630 yards and is averaging 5.9 yards a carry for 13 touchdowns. I know a lot of Texas fans want us to go after Derrick Henry. And I was like, if we have Derrick Henry, I thought that Derrick Henry was done. I ain't gonna lie. I thought Derrick was done. I'm so sorry. I really did. I thought Derrick Henry was done. I really did. I thought, yeah, he might have a game or two where it looked like vintage Derrick Henry. He balled probably against a Jacksonville or Tennessee, something like that, Indianapolis, whatever, because he used to rushing against those teams in the AFC South, unlike Tennessee, but a revenge game running against Tennessee. But I didn't think that he was going to be this level. And really didn't think he was going to do this in Baltimore because I'm like, that's really not going to work in Baltimore because what he needs to do is unload the boxes instead of going to an offense. They're going to load the box because they have a running quarterback. One, I didn't see this out of Lamar Jackson. Is uh Lamar Jackson is less than over 20 yards away from reaching 4,000 yards passing. I didn't think Lamar Jackson will ever have 4,000 yards passing, and he's a little over 200 yards rushing to get 1,000 yards. I'm going to get the 1,000 rushing. but there's a strong possibility that Lamar Jackson can have 4,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards, over 40 total touchdowns. He already has 40 in total now. He already has 40 total now. He has 37 passing, 3 rushing. So 3 more passing touchdowns. He'll have 40. He'll have 40 touchdowns in the air. Not to mention, like I said, a little over 20 yards. He will have a little over 20 yards. He will have 4,000 passing yards, and a little over 200 yards. He will have a little over 2 rushing yards. He will have 1,000 rushing yards. That's that's incredible. I gotta look at exactly what Josh Allen numbers is, but that's crazy. Like this is in like this is way better than any of his two. In my personal opinion, better than any of his 2 MVP seasons. I think they just gave it to him last year. This is the MVP season. Then you look at his receiver Zay Flowers, who I said last year coming in the draft, I was Zay Flowers the best receiver in their draft last year. Zay Flowers has already had 1,000 yards. People talk about why Zay Flowers. You like Zay Flowers? Zay Flowers didn't get 1,000 yards last year because of who he had throwing the football. Zay Flowers, with 2 games left to go in the season, already has 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. Bateman has 668 yards, 8 touchdowns. Andrews had 551 yards and 9 touchdowns. Isaiah Likely, 430 yards and 5 touchdowns. This offense in the air and on the ground is straight humming. They like that for real. They like that for real. Like this offense is like that for real. And it's crazy. It's crazy that they're only 10-5. Now I know some of those I think like they've had some games where they threw on some sauce and had some extra yards. But I mean they did lose to Cleveland and they also lost to the Raiders. That's what they lose to because they got 5 losses. They lost to Cleveland, the Raiders. They lost Kansas City earlier this year. They lost to Pittsburgh earlier this year. Who's the other loss? They got 5 losses. I don't know who their 5th loss is. They lost to the Raiders, Kansas City, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. I don't know who the other loss is. But also, like just incredible games against Cincinnati, where both them and the Bengals both were basically stat padding in those games because both of them was going absolutely crazy in that game. This is the deal. Like this is the deal. The Texans definitely need help. Oh, the Eagles. They lost. That's the loss. You sure right? It was the Eagles. It was the Eagles. It was a couple weeks ago. Only last week. Maybe it was like the week before the Pittsburgh game. Yeah. Like I said, this offense is humming. And again, we have a good defense, especially at home. Like when you look at our defense at home, the Texans passing defense total only gives up 200 yards passing the game. We only give up 172 yards a game at home. So our defense, from a passing standpoint, can stop them. Now, last year we was able to stop Derrick Henry and Le'Veon rushing defense. Our defense this year is not as good and as crisp as we would like it to be. The problem also with Baltimore is because like the Baltimore offense is humming, their defense is bad. More specifically, the secondary. Like that secondary is bad. It's not a good secondary. And man, like I was saying after the game against Kansas City, like the way that the way that Tank was looking in that game in Kansas City, like that was definitely his breakout game because Tank didn't play in the playoffs last year. He didn't play in the one primetime game we got last year against Indianapolis. And then he has played in games, against the primetime games this year. I know the game against the Jets, he did have 120 yards, and that was a primetime game. But I felt like that game was the game that he really was established himself. And it looked like the Tank of old. It looked like the Tank of last year. It looked like this is the Tank that we thought we was getting when we come into the season. And for the situation for him to get hurt on that touchdown, which was a dime, AJ, and then the news come out today that yesterday after the game it said it was a dislocated kneecap. Yesterday news came out that he tore his ACL. Then today we got news that it was all not only the ACL, it was the MCL, the LCL, the MCL, the ACL. It's ACL, the MCL, the LCL, dislocated knee, I think of some other ligament damage or muscle damage. Um, it's safe to say, like just off of ACL and the dislocated kneecap, I thought that we wouldn't see Tank until midway of the season next year. Now I don't think we'll see Tank Dell at all of 2020. We'll see him at all at 2025. And to be honest, I don't think he'll be ready at the beginning of 2026. At least not like I don't think he'll be like ready like for camp and stuff like that. Like maybe like I don't think he's gonna be ready, and that's the reason why the Texans also claim Deontay Johnson off of waivers. Why we claim Deontay Johnson waivers, and uh that's a big help. I think that's a big help, and it also shows a lot as well. Also home real quick. Shout out to that boy Chris Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. Numbers don't lie, bro. Texan fans refuse to criticize C.J. Stroud. It's okay to criticize. I admit Richardson is bad. It's okay. Shout out Chris for Super Chat Love. No, I'm not saying that CJ is above criticism. I do criticize him. I think it should be fair criticism. Yeah, I don't believe that AR is that good of a quarterback myself. I think he's better than Will Levis, and I think he had more potential than Will Levis. But I don't know exactly how. I don't know if he'll ever be a franchise quarterback. CJ's a franchise quarterback. No matter how you feel about him, it's definitely a franchise quarterback. Hey, shout out to that boy Jeffrey for Super Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. Down here in South Texas, McAllen. Oh, you in McAllen? You all the way out there? Ain't that the Valley? Uh, going to need Santa Claus to give the Texans a dub. Hey man, you gonna need Santa Claus to give Texans the dub down the Christmas tree. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about exactly the keys to the game. But Christmas, shout out to that boy. Shout out to the boy Chris for Super Chat Love as well. But also, shout out to that boy Jeff for Super Chat Love as well. The boy said he all the way out there. I used to the pipe company I used to work for before I started driving. We used to ship stuff to McAllen all the time, and we used to ship stuff to McAllen all the time. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's. I've never personally had to deliver out there, but I think like McAllen, if I'm not mistaken, is. So shout out to boy Jeff for Super Chat Love. But the reason why the Texans went out there and signed Deontay Johnson is because they needed somebody. We cannot go to the playoffs once again with just Nico Collins. I said this after the game Saturday. Kind of similar to what happened in 2018 when you lose Will Fuller on Thursday night football against the Miami Dolphins. You go out there, you trade for Demaryius Thomas before the trade deadline because that injury happened before the trade deadline. You trade for Demaryius Thomas, and then Demaryius Thomas didn't give you what you needed because I want the Texans actually to go after Deshaun Jackson. Tampa Bay felt like they were still in win mode, so they didn't make him available because that would be a better replacement down the field, stretch the field, run guy, a fast guy. But we end up getting Demaryius Thomas, which wasn't bad. But Demaryius Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, got hurt in that Jets game on Saturday night, like 3 games before the season ended. So we didn't have him going into the playoffs. So all we had going to that playoffs was Hopkins on a bum, Kiki QT, and Vincent Smith. That's all Deshaun had going into that Indianapolis playoff game, and we lost. We were down 21-0 at home. Ended up losing that playoff game 21-7. Kind of similar to this, except this year we traded for Stephon Diggs before the season started. Stephon Diggs gets hurt with ACL, and now Tank Dell has the injury and has the issues that he have as well. So you go out and you get Deontay Johnson. I don't know if Deontay Johnson is going to play tomorrow. I don't know. I would normally say, nah, he's not going to play. And I'll also be like, I wouldn't be surprised if he out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna fake it. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. I would not be surprised if Deontay Johnson's out there tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, again, this is what Deontay. I got to look up what he's done. He's been in the league since 2019. Was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So and played 1, 2, 3, 4. Played 5 years with Pittsburgh. These are his numbers. His rookie year, 59 catches, 680 yards, 5 touchdowns. The following year, 88 catches, 923 yards, 7 touchdowns. The year after that, 2021, 107 catches, 1,161 yards, and 8 touchdowns. The following year, 2022, 86 catches, 882 yards, but no touchdowns that season. And then in 2023, 51 catches, 717 yards, touchdowns. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I know Ben Roethlisberger was there in 2019. Ben Roethlisberger was in 2020. I think Ben was still there in 2021. I think Big Ben was still there in 2021. I think so. I don't think Kenny Pickett, because I think Kenny Pickett was in the 2022 draft. I think he was in the same draft with Stingley, and I'm not mistaken. Yeah, cause wasn't no quarterback drafted high in that draft. Yeah, so yeah, it would be because in 2021 was Trevor Lawrence. So yeah, so Kenny Pickett's rookie year is the year he touchdowns. And then the last year, it was like Kenny Pickett and Mason off and all the other stuff that's going on in Pittsburgh. So you like that's like that. If your receiver has this production, 59 catches, 680 yards, 5 touchdowns, 88 catches, 923 yards, 7 touchdowns, 107 catches, over 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards, eight. Like that is almost. It's slightly below the numbers that is like less than 100 yards than less than Nico had last year. More touchdowns and more catches than this past season. Well, no, the year after that, 86 catches for almost 900 yards, and then last year, 51 catches for over 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. When you look at that type of production, you okay, hey. That's a productive guy. At the very least, a receiver that's on their way. Even if they're not number one receiver, that is a solid number two, a great number two, actually. But he gets traded to Carolina. 7 games for Carolina, 30 catches, 357 yards, 3 touchdowns. Then he gets traded before the trade deadline to Baltimore. Played 4 games, 1 catch, 6 yards, and gets cut. Baltimore. Bro definitely has some type of issues. I don't know what they are. I don't know exactly what they are. I know we can speculate. I know people saying the same thing about Stephon. The past the people against Stephon Diggs was like, oh, it was Josh Allen this and what you call it? I forgot what the head coach in Buffalo. That he don't have that. I tell you, he's not gonna have those same problem with CJ because we got a black quarterback. We got a black coach in D'Amico Ryans. He played under a black coach in Pittsburgh. Played with a black quarterback with Bryce Young, but also more importantly with Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Those are the type of number that Lamar Jackson type of season Lamar Jackson having. This is not Lamar Jackson running around, get 1,000 yards, throw 50% completion percentage, and only throwing like 100 yards a game and only throwing the tight ends. No. We talking about guys throwing 67.9%, so almost 68%, throwing 700 yards. Right now, he's only 13 yards away from 3,800 yards. 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And you got a receiver with you got a receiver over 1,000 yards. You have another receiver over 600 yards, and then you got 2 tight ends that got 500 yards. And you got a receiver with 8 touchdowns, a tight end with 9 touchdowns. You got another receiver and a tight end with 4 and 5 touchdowns. So the football is going in the air. The guys is getting the football. He's playing well. You're talking about John Harbaugh, Super Bowl winning coach. You're talking about 2-time league MVP in Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson is definitely definitely a cool quarterback. Like I don't think people got no like Lamar Jackson. You can hang out with Lamar. He's not like cringy like what's his name like Russell Wilson and nothing like that. Like this Lamar Jackson, somebody you can hang out with. So I don't know exactly what Deontay Johnson Deontay Johnson's issues are, but for him to not in the culture that Pittsburgh has a culture. Like hasn't had a losing season since what you call it's been there. So they have a winning culture. Baltimore has a good coach. I can get the Carolina situation. I'm not even tripping about that. We are talking about a guy that's on his third team in 3 months, like since October. Carolina, actually since November, because he was traded in November, I think. So no, so in the last 2.5 months, Carolina Panther, Baltimore Raven, now he's a Houston Texan. I don't know how reliable he is. I don't know how much you can depend on him long term. I do think we're gonna be able to depend on him short term. And again, this also, in my opinion, I think it's an indictment on the receivers that you have on the roster with Mechie and Hutchinson and Robert Woods. They feel Robert Woods is old, and I just think that they're probably done with the Mechie and the Xavier Hudson experiment. I feel like they're done, especially with Mechie. I think they're done with him, especially Mechie. I think they're done, and they're gonna go. And I'm gonna talk about a little bit later about potential moves and what they could do long term. Cause I do want to get back into this actual game. But shout out that boy Chris for the super chat love. That honestly, rest Nico Mixon into the playoffs. I've heard that before. I disagree with that because, in my opinion, I think you need to go after the number 3. If you get, because I'm getting to that when I break down the playoffs, because that actually gives you the best chance, in my opinion, to maneuver around in the playoffs. Uh, from a seeding standpoint, instead of staying at the 4 seed, who would you rather who would you rather play? Are you talking about the weather, or are you just talking about the Bills or the MVP Lamar? Okay, I got what you're saying. I thought you talking. I was thinking about like weather wise, like the Baltimore weather or the Buffalo weather. Who would you rather play? The Bills or the MVP Ravens? Actually, gonna talk about that because shout out that boy for the super chat love about this game right here. Because I want to get into this, like I said, their defense, the Ravens, and part of the reason why Baltimore Ravens are putting up a lot of numbers is because their defense actually is not all, especially they passing defense. So let me look at this. So passing yards per game, the Houston Texans passing defense, like I said, only give up 200 yards a game, 172 at home. The Baltimore Ravens, they allow 254 passing yards a game, which is 31st. They allow 280 road. Complete percentage per game. The Texans defense allows a 58.5 complete per quarterback per game. At home, they only allow 3.7. Now they did allow 75 to Will Levis, and they also allow I think 74 to Tua. The Baltimore Ravens, they allow 64.4% pass complete percentage, and on the road 64.5. Passing touchdown, Texans defense allowed 1.9 passing touchdowns a game, 1.3 at home. The Baltimore Ravens, they allow 1.7 per game, 1.9 on the road. Now, the Texans' run defense is where it gets a little tricky. Again, the Ravens can run with both their quarterback and their running back, obviously with Derrick Henry. The Texans give up 106 yards on the ground, 118 at home. The Baltimore rushing defense only gives up 83 yards on the ground, 84 on the road. And rushing first downs a game, the Texans defense allowed 5 rushing first downs, but 6 at home. Baltimore allows 4 rushing first downs and allows 4 at home. Now on the offensive side, the Texans passing offense, they get 113 yards per game. 213. I'm sorry, get 213 yards per game. They also get 240 at home. The Ravens pass offense is averaging 242 a game, and on the road 247. Passing first downs, the Texans get 12 passing first downs per game, 12 at home. The Ravens passing offense gets 11 passing first downs a game, 11 on the road actually. First downs that the Texans get offensively from running the football is 5, 3 at home. The Ravens get 9 rushing first downs a game, 10 on the road. Yards per rushing attempt. The Texans rushing yards per attempt are 4.2, 3.2 at home. Baltimore gets 0.7 rushing yards per attempt and 6.1 at on the road. I'm gonna say at home, on the road. Like this offense, like I said, this offense is humming, but they defense, and part of the reason why their offense be humming is their defense be leaving a lot left to be desired. They defense be leaving a lot left to be desired. Like their defense does not do them any justice. Um, this is the thing though. I said I don't know exactly if Deontay Johnson is going to play. I would love him to play tomorrow night. I would love for it. I would love to see Deontay Johnson. Um, I don't think he's been listening enough. I don't think he's been listening enough to actually give any intel either the Ravens offense or the Ravens defense. Uh, and I don't know if because he wasn't even there that long. He's only there for 4 games. And it's just like I say, them again. I'm glad the Texans claimed them on wire off of waivers on wire. I'm glad the Texans claimed them off waivers. That one to me it also shows their level of desperation, but then it also shows that they were able to put some things. Who knows? Texans of years past probably won't take a chance on a guy that's on their third team in 2.5 months and their fourth team total. The guy that's ultra talented but has obviously a lot of issues from the fact that Pittsburgh traded him to Carolina, and then for Carolina and Baltimore now, Carolina and Baltimore both gave up on him in the span of 2 months, less than. Texans years past would not at all make a claim like this. But I do think it speaks level of desperation, and I do like the fact that even though the level of desperation, they still went out there and made that type of move. I absolutely agree with that. I love the fact that they were able to do that. I love that they went after that, and that's what they done. I just don't know exactly what he'll give you. I really don't, and don't know or think he'll give you anything forward. But I definitely think that he's going to give you something via the playoffs. And but I don't know if he's going to be able to give you anything this week. Shout out that boy Jeff for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Spirits, where did you get the H-Town gear? Where's the best place? I got this in the team store. Right after they dropped the merch. Like the next, like the day when they dropped the jerseys, I went the very next day and got it. This H-Town blue jersey, actually, the only reason why I got it from the website, I went to I went to the website and ordered it from the website. The only reason why I got it because the one that I wanted the plain home jersey, and they have like they have this. I'm put you on some little game real quick. They have like really pretty much all year long. What they've always had, they've had just the regular replica jerseys where the jersey is the jerseys I ironed on. What's my Stingley? Because this is the old jersey. See, the paint is iron, like it's like ironed on. It's ironed on. Like this is a replica jersey. I got this from the website too. When that, but this you see, this is stitched. See, this is stitched. This is see, like this is stitched on. I wanted the stitched on one. They didn't have it. I got this. I got the white one. I have a white CJ, and then I have a white CJ. And then when they popped up the H-Town blue one, I said, you know what? I'm gonna get this H-Town blue one because I want the home because you know how on the away jersey they got the horns. They don't have the Texan patch right here. They don't got the Tex. They got Toro. And so I want this one, the H-Town, not the H-Town. I want the regular deep steel blue one, but. I want the deep steel blue one, but they didn't have the deep steel blue one. Only one they had online was this one. But I think actually now they do have the deep steel blue one online. Go online and get that. The reason why I would go online and get the blue one, but since I already have 2 CJ jerseys, I have a white one and I have this one. I'm gonna get a Nico one. That's probably the next jersey I'm gonna get because I don't have a Nico jersey at all. I got the old jerseys of Stingley, like I said, the old Stingley, but I don't have any Nico jersey and he got a contract, and that's really normally my rule for any time jerseys. I'll wait till a player get a contract first because I would hate to get a jersey and then they don't be here long. I made an exception. The first person I made an exception for was Deshaun because during that draft, I told myself if Texans draft either Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes, I'm getting a jersey on spot. We drafted Deshaun, so I made an exception for that. And 2 years ago, before we drafted Stingley, I said the Texans draft Stingley or Sauce, get their jersey. I said the same thing about the Magic. If the Magic draft Paulo or Jabari, I was gonna get their jersey because I like the Jabari coming out of the draft, and also I like Paulo. So again, so we drafted Paulo. I got two Paulo jerseys. I got the blue jersey and I got the black jersey. Uh, Said the same thing about CJ. I said, hey, the Texans draft CJ Stroud. I'll get his jersey, and I actually got the Liberty white jersey last year, the regular old school Liberty white jersey. But when we got the new jerseys, I knew I was gonna get them, but I wanted, like I said, I wanted these. I wanted the stitched ones. I wanted the authentic ones. But that's where I got that from. I got it from the team. I got it from the team. I got the hat from the team store, and I got the jersey ordered it online. Shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. It just definitely get worse or word out. Shout out Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Brevin Jordan is Brevin Jordan's out for the season. Brevin had like season, like I think he had season in the surgery if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so I don't know if Deontay Johnson is going to help out tomorrow, but looking at this team, I think that their back is against the wall. I think that pressure's on. I feel like a lot of say, like I mean, you seen, like I said, the injury to Tank, and you seen how CJ was. You see a lot of people laughing and not laughing, making fun of CJ, yelling and screaming. I heard a guy the other day just yelling and screaming about CJ Stroud, about why he shouldn't have been that emotional. And now you see the type of the actual full injury of Tank Dell. Um, Now you kind of see why CJ was the way he was. Like, you don't know. I think Tank will be back. I don't think Tank is going to be the same Tank. And again, I'm gonna get into it because I'm gonna talk about some offseason moves a little bit. But I don't know if he's going to be the same guy. Um, and I think because the back is on the wall, I think a lot of people down there, they are five. They're five. I think a 5.5 dog at home. You know you get 3 points for being at home. So that means on a neutral site, they are 8 point dog. That means in Baltimore, they're an 11 point dog. So they're telling you that the Texans are going to get blown out. That's what they're telling you. That's what the spread is saying. They're saying the spread is saying they're going to get blown out. And again, like I said, their offense is amazing. Like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are having a incredible, 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 incredible season this season. They're having an incredible season. First, well, technically, it's the second game on Netflix. Second game on Netflix. Second time in history, the Texans have played on Christmas Day. They played on Christmas Day back in 2017, lost to Pittsburgh Steelers. That's when Hawkins had that catch, which Martirico was like, the catch of the year if it stands. Deshaun was already hurt by then, and merciless. Um, Baltimore Ravens is playoff implications because the Texans win. Whoever wins, even though the Texans can't move down, if Baltimore wins the division, Baltimore has a tiebreaker over the Texans. If the Texans beat them, Baltimore wins the division, Texans have a tiebreaker over Baltimore. And like so, playoff implications are important here, at least for seeding purposes. If both teams are in the playoffs, but for seeding purposes, playoff implications are here. On it, needs signature wins. I mean, Baltimore has beaten. Who have they beaten this season? They beat Buffalo. The Texans beaten Buffalo. Baltimore has also beaten Pittsburgh, and if Cleveland can get into the playoffs, they swept Cleveland. And like I said, incredible offense. I do think the strength of the strength of this Texans team is their defense, passing defense specifically. They run defense has gave up a lot of desire. Like I said, at nauseum, this Texans defense gives up big plays every single game. They give up a big play or two, sometimes a three. At home, not wearing the jerseys, wearing the H-Town blue jerseys. On Netflix. 31-20 Texans. 31-20 Texans. I got the Texans winning by 11. Um, I think the Texans are going to put on offensively. Um, I think that CJ and Nico are going to on the show offensively. I think CJ and Nico are going to step in for their brother Tank, and we're going to see Nico have a 200-yard game, 2 touchdown performance. I think CJ throws for 275. Well, no, because that means on 75 go outside. So, yeah, actually, yeah, I say that. I say that. I think CJ throws for 275, but 2 yards go to Nico. And he throws 2 touchdowns. I think Joe Mixon gets another touchdown. Kyrie gets a field goal. And I think we get a defensive touchdown. Lamar Jackson's turned the football 9 times all year. This Texan defense normally getting turnovers. We didn't get one against. We didn't get one against Pat Mahomes, and Pat Mahomes has been turning the football over. I think we get a turnover, and it's not just a turnover. I think it's a turnover to the house. I don't know if it's a fumble. I don't know if it's an interception, but I feel like we get a turnover and we take it back to the house. I think Stanley the guard Zay Flowers anyway 1-on-1. So, and who knows? I think Lamar Jackson might try Stingley, and maybe Stingley gets first ever touchdown, the interception for his pick for a touchdown. So I got the Texans winning 31-20. I know it's against my better judgment. I know y'all probably think I'm crazy, and that's fine. Y'all can feel like I'm crazy. It could be a Christmas Day miracle. However you want to say it. I think the Texans go out there and handle business, and we win 31-20. And it's just because I feel like that's what's gonna happen. I just feel like that's what's gonna happen. It's no real rhyme or reason. It's not no dive into nuances and deep dive. I think that's what we're gonna do. I just feel like that's what we're gonna do. I feel like we're gonna go up there at home, and we're gonna win 31. That's what I think is gonna happen. Now, I want to talk about the other games real quick, and also the playoff picture, and then I want to dive into what the Texans options and what they might have to do when we talk about going forward when with CJ, I'm not with CJ, with Tank and also Deontay Johnson. The first thing, because I think right before we play, you got Pittsburgh hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Pittsburgh is gonna bounce back because Pittsburgh is hosting that game. I think Pittsburgh bounces back and they beat Kansas City. I think so. Kansas City can only lose on the road. Kansas City is not going to lose at home. So Kansas City gotta lose on the road. So, and I don't think they're going to go 16-1, 17-1. I don't think they're going to go 17-1. So I think they're going to lose to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh gets the win. Thursday night football, Chicago hosts Seattle. I think Chicago finally get win because they lost 8 straight. So I think Chicago finally gets a win. New England hosts the Chargers. I think the Chargers are a team, obviously. I think the Chargers get the win. Cincinnati hosts Denver. This is very crucial. Cincinnati has to win out to make the playoffs. And Denver, team that's in their way. And them beating Denver opens up a playoff spot. It helps out Cincinnati's cause. So I think Cincinnati hosts Denver. They beat Denver in that game. The Rams, they host the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Rams, they get them another win. Buffalo is the Jets. I think Buffalo beats the Jets. New Orleans hosts Vegas. I think Vegas realized the grave mistake that they made because by beating Jacksonville, they went from the number one overall pick to the number six pick as it stands right now. Still 2 games left to play, but I think I think they might realize the mistake. I think New Orleans. I know New Orleans got like beat bad the other night against Green Bay. Well, yesterday rather, not the other night. It was yesterday. New Orleans beats the Vegas Raiders. Um, the Giants host Indy. I actually think the Giants fool around and win this game. Because I just think, like what Chicago was saying, like Chris said, AR is bad. I do think that AR will make a mistake, the New York Giants at Meadowlands will beat the Indianapolis Colts. Huh? I just thought about that. That mean Indy went to the Meadowlands twice this year. That's crazy. I just noticed that. Uh, uh, Philadelphia hosted the Dallas Cowboys. I think Philly wins that game. I know Dallas Tampa Bay Sunday. I think Philly wins that game. Tampa Bay hosts Carolina. I know Carolina got them a real good win. Bryce looked at the well played, no win overtime. They won. Tampa Bay needs to win this game to try to get playoffs. To try to overtake Atlanta. So I think Tampa Bay wins this game because as of right now, Tampa Bay is on the outside looking in. Tampa Bay beats Carolina. Jacksonville hosts Tennessee. Uh, I just do something stupid and win this game. Tennessee is the team that needs a quarterback, unlike Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville needs a quarterback, but they've paid their quarterback. They're not looking for a quarterback because they paid their quarterback. I think Tennessee beats Jacksonville. Cleveland hosts Miami. I just got a feeling that Cleveland goes out there and beats Miami. I know Miami still have to get to the playoffs. I just think Cleveland beats Miami, which both if that happens, if Cleveland beats Miami and the Giants beat Indy, that those are the only two teams. Those are the two non-playoff teams that are in front of Cincinnati, so that opens up a path for Cincinnati very well. Uh, Washington hosts Atlanta. I think Washington, they haven't clinched a playoff spot yet, but they win a playoff spot will be clinched. I think Washington beats Atlanta and clinches said playoff spot. And then San Francisco hosts Detroit. I think that's the Monday night game. And San Francisco loses to Detroit. I got Detroit Lions beating San Francisco. So to recap that, Pittsburgh beating Kansas City. I got Chicago beating Seattle. I got the Chargers beating the Patriots. I got Cincinnati beating Denver. I got the Rams beating Arizona. The Bills beating the Jets. I got New Orleans beating Vegas. I got the New York Giants beating Indianapolis. I got Philly beating Dallas. I got Tampa Bay beating Carolina. I have Tennessee beating Jacksonville. I have Cleveland beating Miami. I have Minnesota beating Green Bay. I have Washington beating Atlanta, and I have I have Detroit beating San Francisco. And my bad, I lost over Minnesota and Green Bay. Minnesota has a shot to be the number one seed. Both Minnesota and Green Bay both have clinched a playoff spot. Green Bay cannot win the division. They eliminate from winning divisions, so Green Bay is going to have to be a wild card. Green Bay, as of right now, is the sixth seed. They can be the fifth seed as high as they can go. They actually could fall to the seventh seed as well. But I just think they could fall to the seventh seed. They really could, especially if Washington wins. But I don't know. So Green Bay still has something to play for. Green Bay definitely has something to play for. I just think Minnesota goes out there and wins. So the playoff seeds look like this. So in the AFC, Kansas City has the 1 seed with a 14-1 record. Buffalo has a 2 seed, 12-3 record, but have a tiebreaker over Kansas City, so they have the opportunity to leap Kansas City. Pittsburgh is the 3 seed right now at a 10-5 record. The Texans with the 4 seed with a 9-6 record, but have to leap and get to 3. Baltimore is on that. Baltimore is the wild card, the 5 seed with a 10-5 record. They have opportunity to be a 3, 4, or 5 seed. At the 6 seed, you have the Chargers with a 9-6 record, and then on the 7 seed, you have Denver with a 9-6 record. And on the outlook in the playoffs, in this exact order, Indy, Miami, and Cincinnati all with a 7-8 record. All three of those teams can only be wild card teams, and they can only be. I was about to say they can only be the 7th seed, but I think there's actually a way for them to be the seed as well. So they have opportunity. Like, so they have opportunities to also get. Now again, they would need Denver and the Chargers to lose out. They would need Denver and the Chargers to lose out. Now the Chargers face the Raiders the last game of the season. Now Denver faced Kansas City in the last game of the season. Kansas City could either be playing their guys, still trying to get the number one seed if they lose to Pittsburgh, but if they beat Pittsburgh, Kansas City not be playing nobody. Um, So that's how it looks on the AFC. On the NFC side, you have Detroit Lions at the 1 seed with a record, Philly at the number 2 seed with a 12-3 record, the Rams 3 seed with a 9-6 record, Atlanta on the 4 seed with an 8-7 record. You have Minnesota at the 5 seed with a 13-2 record. You have Green Bay at the 6 seed with 11-4 record. You have Washington at the 7 seed with a 10-5 record. Now, Detroit right now has the number 1 seed. Detroit plays Minnesota the last game of the season. Detroit could be the 1 seed or the 5 seed. They can either be the 1 seed, the 2 seed, or the 5 seed. They can't be the 3 or the 4. And they won't fall past a 5. Minnesota has the opportunity to be the 2 seed or the 1 seed, 5 seed. Philadelphia could be the 1 seed. They could be the 2 seed. And they also could fall and be a wild card team because Washington still has the opportunity to be the number 2 seed. Now, a lot have to break right for Washington. Like they gotta win out. Philly has to lose out. They play in Dallas and the Giants. I think their last game is against the Giants. So I don't see Philly losing out because they're gonna win one of those games, at least, if not both of them. But there's an opportunity that Washington could be the 7th or the 2 seed. There is an opportunity for that. And Tampa Bay and Seattle are the two teams out. They have availability again. They're both 8-7. Obviously, they both have opportunities to get into their division. If the Rams lose out and it's 9-8, Seattle can get in. If Atlanta lose out, Tampa Bay can get in. And Washington has yet to clinch a playoff spot. So if Washington loses out and Tampa Bay and Seattle, one of those teams, if not both of them, have an opportunity to get their wild card spot. So 7 spots still up in the air, like technically, but Washington can close the door by beating Atlanta. By beating Atlanta, so it actually do Tampa Bay a favor to help Tampa Bay get in. So that's how y'all standings are looking right now at this moment, and those are my predictions for this week. Now, let's talk about this Tank Dell receiver situation. Um, this is the thing: the Texans are going to have a lot of decisions this offseason. They're going to have a lot of decisions this offseason. One, have a decision I feel like with the offensive line coach. I think the most important decision is deciding to move on from Bobby Slowick. I think if you move on from Bobby Slowick, that actually helps the offensive line because if you move on from Bobby Slowick, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be moving on from your offline coach too. Because if you bring in another OC, they're probably gonna especially bring on one from outside OC. It's different if you elevate somebody else up on the roster, but if you bring in, coaching staff, but if you bring in somebody from the outside to be the OC, they're probably going to change the offensive court. They're probably going to change offensive line coaches and bring in their own coach to be the coach of the offensive line. I laid out the numbers earlier about Deontay Johnson. Like I said, he's been a headache, for lack of better words, for Pittsburgh, Carolina, and Baltimore. 3 teams in less than a calendar year have given up on him. Unfortunately, I think Bobby has job security. I normally would say that too. I said that like that I feel like it would have to be Cal, Nick, or even CJ will have to go into D'Amico's office and give Nico either an ultimatum or basically put a battery in his back to move on from Bobby Slowick. But now this could just be me wishful thinking. This could just be me having, me being wishful thinking. I feel like what I've heard from D'Amico Ryans the last couple of weeks and the last couple of press conferences, he's been saying the same thing. So if you just read words like recasting, D'Amico says this, D'Amico says that, he's saying the same thing. But his tone and to me feel like somebody that's frustrated. He's saying the same things about the offense. But to me, it feels like it's sounding like he's frustrated with said offense. He might be saying the same stuff, but I feel like he's frustrated with the offense. That's what I feel like. Now I could be completely wrong, and it could just me wishful thinking. I will agree with that. I'm not tripping. I will agree with that. I'll agree that could potentially be the situation. But I feel like, personal feeling, I feel like that he's starting to get fed up and frustrated because the defense is doing work. Defense scoring touchdown. Defense is doing work. I'm not getting what I need to get out of my offense when I have a franchise quarterback. I got a running back that's almost at 1,000 yards. I got a receiver that's almost at 1,000 yards. Both of them would have been over 1,000 yards if they wouldn't have no if they missed 5 games with hamstring injury. And what you call it wasn't tackle off of a tackle against a hip drop illegal tackle against Chicago week 2. And this is the offense I'll put them up. It's a struggle to watch this offense. It really is. It's an absolute struggle to watch this offense. So I'm saying all that to say I feel like potentially could be frustrated. Again, I think Deontay Johnson in the short term definitely will help because you don't have anybody on the roster. I don't know if he's going to be able to work long term. There's something there issue wise. It ain't talent, like I said. Like in his 1, 2, 3, 4 first 5 years of the season, he's giving you 600 yards, 900 yards, 1,100 yards, 800, over 800 yards, 700 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. Now he did have 1 year with no touchdowns, but then 5 touchdowns. We talking about a guy that his lowest catches in his first is 51. We talking about 59, 88, 107, 86, and 51. Now this year, 30 catches, 30 catches, 351 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I mean he's giving you a touchdown every 10 catches. He give you a touchdown. So every 10 catches, he's giving you 100 yards and a touchdown. That every 10 catches, he's giving you 100 touchdowns. You get 100 yards and a touchdown. Actually, 100 and what? Like 115 yards, 113 yards, something like that. 113 yards and a touchdown every 10 catches. Now he did that over a 7 game stretch. It wasn't like he did that in the 5 game stretch. He did that in the 7 game stretch. But the guy has a lot of talent. But I think in a small dosage, like the remainder of the season in the playoffs, he's gonna pay off. I think he can play well if he doesn't get distracted. If he doesn't get however he gets, and the reason why he got moved out, he got shipped out of Pittsburgh and then shipped out of Carolina, and then completely just kicked out of Baltimore. Like I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. So a lot of noise and a lot of rumors because this is before the Tank Dell injury even happened. Odds came out that the Texans were second behind the Kansas City Chiefs on odds to get Gary Wilson, receiver for the New York Jets, came play out of the Ohio State, same college that CJ just shouted out Gary Wilson about 2 weeks ago when he was talking about Sting, saying that he compared his ball skills to Stingley's. To Gary Wilson, somebody that when the football is in the air, he just thinks it's his and he attacks it. The right to the football. The Texans have the second best odds to get Gary Wilson. Garrett Wilson look like a guy who's frustrated with the Jets. We're talking about a guy who's played 3 seasons with the New York Jets. Rookie season, 800. 83 yards, 1100, 3 catches, 1100 yards, 4 touchdowns, offensive rookie of the year. Last year, 95 catches, 1042 yards, touchdowns. This season right now, still got 2 games left to go. Already has 90 catches, 987 yards, so he's 13 yards away from 1,000 yards with 2 games left to go and 6 touchdowns. Dude's a playmaker. He's consistently gave you 1,000 yards. And we're talking about bad quarterback play. This is very similar to Deontay Johnson. Bad quarterback play. Got yards, not a lot of touchdowns. Not a lot of touchdowns. We're talking about 4, 3, and 6. So not a lot of touchdowns. We ain't talking about 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 touchdowns. We're talking about low number of touchdowns, getting yards, bad quarterback play. We talking about Garrett Wilson his rookie year. We talking about last year, Garrett Wilson again. I'm not Garrett Wilson. Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson his rookie year. Last year, Zach Wilson again. This year, 155-year-old Aaron Rodgers. And like I say, he's 13 yards away from 1,000 yards. His third consecutive 1,000 yards. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get that like on the first catch that he makes on Sunday when they play. Who else are they playing? But is it Buffalo? Yeah, against I'm pretty sure he's gonna get that on like my first or second catch against Buffalo. He's gonna have his third 1,000-yard season. This is the deal. And I'm pretty sure CJ would love to have Garrett Wilson. I want to know what the cost is for Garrett Wilson. And this is what I was thinking about. But I was like, man, I don't know. I mean, I would love to have Garrett Wilson, but I think the Texans probably will go after drafting a quarterback. I don't know if I said this in my live stream after the game because it might have been too. I don't know if I thought about it, but I feel like they're going to attack receiver. I feel like in the offseason, receivers are going to be their main priority. And I think they're going to attack it 2 different ways. I think we're going to sign somebody for agency, and I think we're going to draft a receiver in the draft. And I don't know if we're going to go sign a big price free agent. I was thinking, no, not saying this guy, but this tier guy, like a Elijah Moore, a Hollywood Brown. Not those guys specifically, but those like receivers, and then you go out there and you draft a receiver. Seeing the news with Tank being dislocated kneecap, then the ACL, then we talking about a now we're talking about a MCL tear and the LCL tear. And again, from December to December in a calendar year, Tank broke his fibula, got shot, and now messed up his knee. And these are the type of injuries that hurt careers. Again, not saying his career is over, because I don't know. It's going to be a very grueling task. This is going to be an absolute grueling task. An absolute grueling task. When we talk about guys like, because I know Deshaun tore his ACL and Adrian Peterson tore his ACL. Like, guys that torn the ACL have come back and like they tore the ACL at the beginning of the season, came and played in the playoffs, or they tore the ACL at the end of the middle of the season. They're ready for OTAs and they playing like they coming out the gate. I mean, what you call it? AP rush for 2,000 yards ACL tear. Those are what we call when they say it was a clean tear. That means it was just boom. The ACL tore, nothing else tore. When there was a ligament damage, nothing else happened. It was just a straight ACL tear. Those guys coming back from that. Those guys are coming back from straight ACL tears. We talking about ACL, MCL, ALCL, and a dislocated kneecap, and other muscle damage as well. That is the thing that, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot to come back from. That's a lot to come back from that. That's though, and when they do come back, those guys don't look the same. I know people talking about Odell, and then people, I want to know Odell's washed. Why y'all think Odell washed? Think he just washed because he just washed? No, because he got hurt a couple times. RG3 had an incredible rookie season. messed up his leg, came back too early, and shredded his knee again. Also a guy who tore his ACL, tore his ACL coming out, tore his ACL at Baylor. Now that first ACL tear was a clean tear because he tore his ACL. He came back. Was the number 2 pick in the draft. Wasn't nobody talking about RG3 at Baylor before that. Before he tore his ACL, wasn't nobody talking about RG3. He comes back. He played well with Baylor. The next year, won the Heisman. He wasn't in the race at all. Came out there, won the Heisman, and shot up to the number 2 pick in the draft. Came out his rookie year balling. Offensive rookie year. He got hurt against, I think it was Minnesota? It wasn't Minnesota. Who was it? Was it? Because I know he got hurt in the playoff game against Seattle. Who did he get hurt against? Then he hurt his knee the first time, and they brought in Cousins, and then he came back and played in that Seattle game in the playoffs, and we was reaching back to get that fumble. That's up his leg. That's when he messed up his leg. He was never the same player. Now he came back and played. He came back and he was in the NFL. He came back and played, but he was never, ever, ever the RG3 we seen rookie year. And it gets lost in the sauce. It gets chalked up as 1 year wonders, one hit wonders, 1 year rookie year, 1 year. It gets glossed like that. That's not the case. RG3 just wasn't the same athlete anymore. He wasn't the same athlete anymore. He couldn't do the same things that he was able to do because of the injuries. And I don't know if that's going to be the situation for Tank. I hope not, because I like Tank. I hope not. And I hope that Tank can come back, be better than ever. I would love to see it. The Texans can't count on that. We can't count and bank on that. And I don't think he's coming back next season. I don't think he's even going to be back at the beginning of the following season. I think that you won't see Tank until like I ain't going to say the middle of 2026, but it's not going to be first day of camp 2026. I feel like I don't think it would be. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Diggs resigns to the Texans anyway. I think what Diggs gave us, I'm glad what Diggs was able to get the Texans this season. I don't know if Diggs wants to be in this offense anymore. And I don't know if you want to Diggs. Even though I like what Diggs able to do this season, Diggs didn't give you what normally gives you, because I think that's the Stephon Diggs that was in Buffalo is not the Stephon Diggs we have here in Houston. So I don't think you're going to get that going forward. So I think the Texans this offseason needs to do what they need to do to go out there and get a receiver. I feel like they should go out there and get Gilson, because you don't want to go out there and only have Nico Collins. And again, Nico Collins the best receiver in the league. But he's also not the most reliable receiver in the league. He's missed time in every single season. He's missed 5 games this year. That's the reason why he's not going to be looked at he's not going to be looked at as a Pro Bowl receiver or All Pro. Nico would have been an All Pro receiver if he did miss no time. He would be an All Pro Bowl receiver. He might be able to get to be a Pro Bowl receiver because people out, but he's not going to be an All Pro receiver. Maybe second team if he's lucky. But he's not going to be a All Pro receiver in my opinion. He should be, but I don't think he is because he missed a lot of time. Only missed time, so you gonna have to go out there and make some moves, and some moves might be uncomfortable. I posted on Twitter. It was just a mock trade. It wasn't nothing really too serious. It was a mock trade of the Texans acquiring Gary Wilson and the Texans trading Larry Tunsil. Also had them also giving up some draft picks as well, a second and a third, a second this year and a third. I said a third of next year's draft. And again, that third could be anything, because it doesn't have to just be it doesn't have to be. It was a tweet. So it have to be just a regular third round pick. It could be a compensatory pick, a pick that you're getting from one of your free agents signing somewhere, or it could be a conditional pick because it's a future third. So it could be a conditional pick. It could be a pick that depends on if Gary Wilson makes an All Pro or a Pro Bowl, or he catches 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns this fifth turn to a third, something of that nature. It could be a multitude of things. It doesn't have to just be a straight cut and dry Houston Texans third round pick. It could be a third round pick that the Texans acquire from something else. The Texans can be moving around and acquire a third round pick, and it could be that. So it like it doesn't have to just be that. It doesn't have to be that. I think people will hung up a little bit too much on like the verbiage, and also Larry Tunsil. Um, Again, Larry Tunsil is our best offensive lineman. Larry Tunsil is a 4-time Pro Bowler, more likely to be a 5th-time Pro Bowler this year. But no All Pros. A guy who makes 50 is going to be counting 58 million against the cap the next 2 seasons. I'm like, if you trade him, you also you clear up cap space, and clear up cap space because you're going to have to sign Gary Wilson because Gary Wilson is already on his 3rd season. Next year will be his 4th season at the 50 option. You don't want to trade for a guy and then have to give him up, let him go into free agency. So you want to go out there and make you want to go out there, you want to go out there and make sure you get him. So trading Larry Tunsil also frees up that cash space. I see people saying offensive line may help, and that's another thing too. People are like, why would you give her your main offensive lineman? This is why. One of the tackles actually not the problem, and you actually already have Larry Tunsil's replacement, Fisher. I actually of the belief that I don't think that I'm of the belief that I don't think both Titus and Tunsil are going to be here next year. I don't think that both of them are going to be here. I think one of them are going to be gone, Titus or Tunsil. Me personally, I would, even though that Tunsil is the best player from a physical standpoint, talent standpoint, I actually rather get rid of Tunsil because Tunsil's mentality. I think Tunsil's mentality is the biggest problem with the offensive line because we don't got no dogs out there. We don't got no big uglies like that. We ain't got no guys that we ain't got no guys out there that's ready to move people over. We got guys that they worry about being pretty on the field. They not worried about like blocking. They're not worried about like showing their strength. Like they always go watch their tape. Once they block their person that they're supposed to block, they just stand and chill. And CJ still, the play's still going on. I don't like the play over. Like CJ still moving around in the pocket. CJ still doing stuff, and they standing and looking. The one play against the Lions when Titus was trying to take the football out of CJ's hand, you know why he was able to do that? Because after he made the initial block, he just stood there and watching CJ, just looking, watching CJ. So my thing is, if you get Tunsil is the leader of the offensive line. He's the highest paid. He has he's the one with the pelts on the wall. I know Shaq Mason had some Super Bowls because he was on the Patriots. But as far as solo accolades, he's the 4-time Pro Bowler, potentially 5-time Pro Bowler. He's the guy that gets the contracts, always the highest paid and all that type of stuff. He was a high draft pick as well. He should have been, if it wasn't for the gas mask, he would have been the number 1 or number 2 overall pick in that draft, whenever it was. But they popped a fire. I didn't know what that was. They popped firecrackers out there for Christmas. So when they start popping firecrackers on Christmas, sidebar, I thought firecrackers was like July and New Year's thing. Now, because one year they would pop firecrackers on Thanksgiving. I'm like, when do we start popping firecrackers? Like, we just pop firecrackers on all the holidays now. I feel like, okay, we just firecracker crazy. Firecracker, sidebar, sorry about that. Because them popping the firecrackers, them pop firecrackers kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I didn't know. I thought somebody was out there. The loser, I was like, oh. I showed them we went viral then. I showed if somebody got if somebody started letting some stuff fly on camera, I showed showed enough when went viral. It would have went all type of viral. Somebody was letting them things fly. Man, Anyway, um, my thing is like Tunsil starts that mentality, and I think I like what I've seen out of Fisher. I like what I think Titus. I've seen Titus play aggressive. I've seen Titus play aggressive, and I think he too much mimics Larry Tunsil, and that's the reason why he plays the way he plays. So I think if you do that, that goes a long way in fixing the offensive line. Also, the offensive line is not the tackles; it's the interior. It's the guard play. That's what we need to fix. I know somebody said offensive line is the main priority. With that, and I think that offensive line should be handled free. I don't want the offensive line to be handled in the draft because Nick, outside of Blake Fisher, and that's promise. That's just promise, and to a certain extent, wishful thinking because we don't know because he hasn't played a full season or a multitude of games at the tackle position. We don't know exactly. Um, Nick Casario is not good at drafting offensive line. I don't want him to draft in the offensive line, and Juice and Kenyon and Pat. Even though and I like what passing brings, but passing got a lot, and also passing was a late round. Passing got a lot of holes in this game as well. I don't trust him with drafting offensive line. Now defense, when we talk about secondary, oh he's money at that. We talk about Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Caleb Bullock, Petrie. Secondary back to New England. He hits on the secondary. So I don't mind him drafting secondary. Offensive lineman, I want him to fix the offensive line via free agency. I want him to sign some guards, and that's gonna bolster up your offensive line. And I feel like also if you do that and you move Tunsil, I think the mentality of the offensive line changed, and you also got guys up front. It's not just like people. It's not just it's not just you trade because people say so you want to make the offensive line weaker. Okay, good for a receiver. Like it's not just that. Like you don't think of it that simple mindedly. I'm not just saying we just trade Larry Tunsil and that's done. No, 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 no. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm actually saying that shouldn't even be the first move. The first move actually should be go out there and get you some guards. Go out there and get some guards. Go out move and get some guards. And then you take Titus, leave him, put him in the right tackle. You take Blake Fisher, you move him to the left tackle, and then you move on Larry Tunsil. Now we could talk about if that's too much, because someone told me that hey, we giving up Tunsil. I'm not giving up a second and a third. Again, the third wasn't just a third round pick, just boom, third round pick. Like I said, that third round pick could be anything. It could be a compensatory pick. It could be a conditional pick, depending on what Garrett Wilson does. It's a lot of things. My thing is they're gonna be taking on Larry Tunsil's contract for the next 2 years, $28 million per year. So and also to sweeten the pot to make sure that other people don't get into the mix or don't have the capability to get in the mix to go out there and get Garrett Wilson. I think CJ would love to have Garrett Wilson on the team. That way he'll have two reliable receivers out there. Both of them that he like for real. He knows one from playing with him in college, and he has another one he's known the last 2 years in the NFL, and also a guy who's proven in the NFL in Garrett Wilson the last 3 years rather. And this year was a tough year for him, and he's still. I mean, like I said, he's 13 yards away from 1,000. He gets another he with 2 games left. He got a better season than he had. This could be his best season. It's already his best season from a touchdown standpoint. He already has 2 more touchdowns more. So what we talking about? Career high. He is 100. He's 117 yards. 117 yards away from his career high, and is 5 catches away from his career high. So if he catches 117 yards and with 5 catches the next 2 games total, like not in each game but total, he will have this will be his best season. And he's frustrated. He's frustrated. It will be his best season. I actually like that. That to me is important. I even think that right there actually makes me want Gary Wilson even more now. That a season that's his best season across the board, yards, catches, and touchdowns. And most guys, winning or losing, if their numbers is good, they good. They could be winning, and their numbers are down. They frustrated, like Diggs was last year. That his like the first 11 games of the season, you didn't hear nothing out of Stephon Diggs. When he was balling, he had all the numbers and stuff like that. Buffalo was losing. The way they played the offense, they went more towards the run when they put not Ben Johnson but Joe Brady in because they fired what's old boy name used to be a quarterback for Miami Hurricanes. Ken Dorsey. They fired Ken Dorsey and I can't want to say Ben Johnson. They fired Ken Dorsey and Joe Brady took over the play call and they went more towards the run game. They won the last 5 games of the season, which they needed to win. That was the only way they were going to get playoffs. They won the last 5 games down the stretch, got into the playoffs. Stephon Diggs had a problem because it went down, but the team was winning. See, the team was losing, but his numbers was up. He was good. He wasn't saying nothing. His numbers start going down. The team is on the winning streak. He has an issue. And we can simply Josh Allen. We can do all this. I don't even care about it because again, it's more than the bridge. But Gary Wilson is frustrated, and his numbers are up. His numbers are up, and he's frustrated. That's him in. He don't give a damn about the numbers. So you put him in a situation with CJ. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's really going on. So I didn't. At first, it was just a talking point. Now I've actually really talked myself into I want Gary Wilson as a Houston Texan. I think, yeah, I think since, yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with giving them a first round pick. I'm not even saying give like again if we gave a first round pick for him and kept Tunsil, I'm not tripping with that either. I was just throwing up a scenario. It wasn't really all that. It wasn't all that serious. It was a scenario. But again, I understand people get mad about it. It's cool. I ain't tripping because that scenario I laid out, I would like that scenario. That scenario laid out, I wouldn't trip, not at all. We give him a first round pick for Gary Wilson, I definitely wouldn't trip. Even if we gave him a first round pick and like some stuff, we gave him a first round pick and maybe a third. Again, we can give him a first round pick and we give him a future condition and all that type of stuff like that. Cool. I don't know, but that I don't know on standpoint. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know if the Jets will give that up. Honestly, I don't know if the Jets get. Hopefully, we get Gary Wilson. If I agree. Yeah. I mean, you are right about that. You are right about that. Like Jamar Chase has not been complaining, and he's had the best. He probably shouldn't complain because he's trying to also get paid too, and he that's probably why he's not complaining because he know he gonna get paid this off season. Either he gonna get paid or he gonna be walking and get paid. No, he gonna get paid now, so that's why he's not complaining. Um, his situation might be a little bit different because of him being paid potentially, or him getting paid. That makes it a little bit different, but that do make it a little bit different. Like they do make it a little bit different. First round, I could be, I could do it. First round, couldn't do it. Oh, you saying first round? So you saying you couldn't give up a first? Why you couldn't give up a first round for a legit receiver? Because you more than likely will take that first round pick and draft for a receiver. And we talking about young receivers too. We not even talking about like it'd be different. We was talking about like a first round pick for. I ain't gonna go crazy and just think of somebody like this real old. Like I wouldn't give up. If you were talking about a first round, like a first round pick for I can see if you talking about a first round pick for AJ Brown. first round pick for AJ Brown. Not gonna say Devontae because he's Devontae's too old. He's in his 30s. I mean, of course not. Like of course not nobody. But a receiver who is not like not old, but they not young either. Like AJ Brown. Like AJ Brown is not old, but he also not young either. Like, he's been in the league since what 2019. Yeah, AJ Brown been in the league since 2019. So he's been in the league. He's been paid twice already. Like we talking about some Wilson. He's going into his Gary Wilson ain't got paid yet. Like Gary Wilson is going into his fourth season of his career. Like he's only been in one more year than your quarterback. Like you talking about somebody that's going into the fourth year of their season. Now, because also you also pay him. That is the sticky part about Gary Wilson. You talking about paying. You talking about paying him and also you talking about paying him and also paying Sting. Sting gonna get paid this offseason too. So why? Damn. 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 I just thought about it. They not gonna trade Gary Wilson because they're gonna have to pay for Stingley. I just thought about that because they gonna pay Stingley. Like Stingley definitely getting paid this offseason. You gonna pay Stingley this offseason, and you're gonna have to pay Gary Wilson. I came up with like in my I came up because we don't give 4 or 5 year extensions. We give 3 year extensions. So I was thinking 3 years. I was thinking 3 years, 81 million. That's 27 million per. So that is over Nico because Nico's getting paid like 24. So that's $3 million over Nico, but he also had 3 straight 1,000 yard seasons too, and you also traded for him, and he's a former number one. He's also a former first round pick. So there's a lot of other different things that go into it with Gary Wilson. And Philadelphia has shown you paying 2 receivers that type of money. Because Devontae Smith is getting paid more than Nico, and I think AJ Brown's in the 30s. If I'm not mistaken, I think AJ Brown's in the 30s. So Philadelphia has shown that aptitude. The Texans, I can see exactly what the cap space is, but you talking about paying Stingley top money. Like if for y'all like what happened, the reason why I did it because I thought as I'm talking about it, they're gonna pay Stingley this offseason, and Stingley's gonna be the high corner. Like Stingley's gonna like they're gonna pay Stingley offseason. He has David Muget as his agent. Stingley's gonna be the highest paid corner, especially what you've seen the last like month. Stingley's gonna be the highest paid corner. Totally with what you seen last year as well. Stingley's going to be the highest paid corner, so they're going to pay Stingley. Now I know the corners don't make a lot of money. I have to see what the highest paid corner is making. Stingley's going to be the highest paid corner, and I don't know if they're going to pay Gary Wilson that. Gary Wilson again. Then we do have a little bit of ability because we don't have to pay CJ. Next year CJ's 30 so we still got some time. We still got some time to pay CJ and Will because both of them getting paid at the same time. And that's a lot of guys all getting paid at the same time. Like you talk about Stingley and Gary Wilson. You talk about CJ and Will. That's a lot of guys getting paid at the same time. Then you got well, Nick already got paid. I mean, cause you got another 3 years before you pay Bullock and which is, I mean, yeah. So I not too bad, but I don't know if they, I don't know if them themselves are going to be willing to pay uh, play all these quarterbacks, play all this at the same time. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna be willing to play all these at the same time. Hopefully so though. Hopefully so because again, as I'm sitting there thinking about man, like the attitude about Garrett Wilson, the numbers and the production, the him being former teammates with CJ, I think that's the move. And especially when you don't know if you're ever going to see Tank. You don't know when you're going to see Tank again, and if you ever Tank, and if you ever will see the same Tank that we seen last year. I don't think we will ever see the Tank that we were seeing last year. Like the Tank that we seen uh last season, like those first couple games last season. I don't think we'll see that Tank Dell. I mean, I trust me. I hope I'm wrong. I would love for somebody to be like, ha ha ha, I thought shit. Because I like Tank a lot. I like Tank coming out of U of H. Tank was one of my favorite players in that draft. He was one of my favorite players in that draft. I like Tank a lot coming out. I remember watching, like, because I'm a Tech fan, I remember watching U of H play against Texas Tech. And I'm like, who's number one? Shout out to my boy Wise. Because me and Wise was watching the game together. And I'm like, hey, bro, who is number one? For U of H. He like, I'm Tank Dell. I'm like, huh. Hey man, this he out here. He was saucing boys up. He was out there saucing boys up. I'm like, say bro, who is it? He out there saucing boys up. He out there saucing boys up. Man, dog. Like I said, it's a grueling injury. It's a grind. I'm not. I hope he comes back, and I hope he comes back and he's the same player. Hope he comes back he's the same player. I know my nephew. He's one of my nephew's favorite players outside of CJ and Will Anderson. I think it's Tank. Actually, I think he might like Tank over Will Anderson. It's CJ. Um, man, man. Are you talking about we should look for receiver in this past draft, or you talking about in this next year draft? I'm because like reason why we didn't get receiver this past draft because we drafted the corner and the safety who are impact players. Stover, who has made plays. Uh, yeah, that's your second, third, and fourth round pick right there. And Blake Fisher, like really, our first four picks have been like two of them are starters, and two of them are full fledged. And Kamara Lassiter and Kalen Bullock. Stover has been. I mean, Stover's been a rookie. Like Stover's been a rookie, and then Blake Fisher looks like a very important part now because of how what we've had to do on the offensive line and have to move people around. Like so, uh, yeah, though I'm not giving back none of them first four picks. Not at all. I was gonna get paid. I don't know what he's gonna get paid. I don't think he's not gonna get paid like the top. Stingley's gonna get Stingley. I don't know if Pastor Turner's got paid already yet. I think he has. But Stalls is not gonna be paid more than Pastor Turner and Stingley. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. What's the most realistic wide receiver room? Uh, Realistically, like it's like what I said. Um, I have to look at what type of receivers are out there. But it would be Nico, a free agent receiver by like I say, like of like a third tier receiver. Um, um, depending on how these next couple of weeks go, Deontay Johnson, and then a draft pick, like first or second rounder. But that's I think is the most realistic wide receiver room. Nico, some like low free agent, like not just a huge free agent, like maybe like a tier above what we thought Noah Brown was coming into the season. Like I said, somebody like a I'm not saying it would be Elijah Moore, but somebody like that, like a receiver like that. Uh, Deontay, depending on if Deontay Johnson, depending on how Deontay Johnson like does this, like for the next weeks, Deontay Johnson. So there's Nico, a lower tier free agent, potentially Deontay Johnson. Draft a receiver first or second round, and one of Mechia Hutchinson. One of Mechia Hutchinson. That's it'll be something like that. First round is I'll trade out of the first round in next year's draft. How you trade out of the first round? I mean I actually like the receivers in this year's draft. Mabuka. And to be honest, I actually think that to be honest, I think if the Texans probably would draft, I can see them drafting two receivers. If they draft a receiver in the first round, I can see them drafting a receiver in the fourth round. Like if they draft a receiver, and if we don't trade for a receiver, if we don't trade for a receiver, if we don't like I don't know, like sign T Higgins, I think now all options should be on the table. Like signing T Higgins, trading for Gary Wilson. Who else is another receiver that could potentially be available? Chris Olave got concussion issues, so I don't know if that's even on the table or not. I don't know. I don't know if that's on the table or not. I have to see whether like I have to look and see other receivers that potentially could be on the move. What's some other receiver that potentially could be on the move? No, they're not trading London because they just drafted. I mean, they just put in Michael Penix, so they're not gonna get rid of. I was about to say Drake London, but they're not gonna get rid of Drake. I don't know, but like if somebody else is willing to move on from a receiver, like I said, T Higgins, franchise tag is about to be over. Like something like that. Like I think all receiving options can are and should be on the table season, and you should be able to try to make any and every move that you possibly can. Like I said to your question, I feel like the most realistic wide receiver room would be obviously Nico. I feel like a free agent, potentially Deontay Johnson, how this goes, a draft pick, and then one of Mechie or Hutchinson because I feel like you basically give them the offseason. I feel like you basically give them the. I feel like you basically give them the off season. Um, but especially if you draft, if you don't make a move for receiver, especially if you draft receiver in the first round, because we do have our first round pick, unless Nick Casario do it last year and acquire more picks. You move, like you draft a receiver in the first round, maybe draft. I think we need to draft another in the second round. Like I feel like we need to draft another DB corner safety. Like it depends. Like I mean, cause you could draft. Because if you draft another corner, then you can have what you call it. You can move Kamari the outside corner. You can move Kamari in the slot and the other outside corner. That also helps out your safety position because you want to play so much nickel. If you did that, because you would need all those safeties on the field if you have three solid corners. So, uh, corner or safety. Like I said, I know people talking about offensive line. I want offensive line to be handled in the free agency because I don't trust Nick Casario drafting offensive line. Uh, Probably know some linebackers or DTs or whatever in the third round, and then probably in the fourth round draft another receiver. Because I think like you're going this receiver room, which we came into the season thinking, oh man, we got them receivers. We got this receiver room now is decimated, and also like I said Nico. Nico has yet to play a full season himself. So do with that information as you will. Do with that information as you will. Man, appreciate everybody that come through here on this good Christmas Eve. You know what I'm saying? The Houston Texans will take on the Baltimore Ravens Christmas Day on Netflix. For all y'all people out there worried about the Netflix and the buffering like during the Paul fight in Houston area. Now, if you ain't in the Houston area, I'm sorry. But if you are in the Houston area, the game will be on, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's on Fox. I think it's going to be on Fox. I think so. It's going to be, so look on your local telecast. It's either on Fox or it's on NBC. It's on one, so the game will be played locally on a local channel if you don't have Netflix. Now, if you got Netflix, you cool. If you have Netflix, or if you worry about the Netflix buffering, if you stay inside Houston, or if your services are Houston based, it's gonna be on the local channels. You can be able to watch it locally, so you good on that front. I wanted to give out that information for those who need it. So we'll be on that. It will be on that front. I completely disagree. Oh, this game does matter because I might not laid it out. So let me. I think I did. I didn't lay it out. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't lay out the importance of the third overall seed. So right now the standings is KC with the 1 seed, Buffalo with the 2 seed, Pittsburgh with the 3, Houston with the 4 seed. Baltimore is the 5 seed, and that means they'll go to Houston. The Chargers are the 6 seed, that means they go to Pittsburgh. Denver is the 7 seed, that means they go to Buffalo. That's how it's slated right now. That's how it's slated right now. If the Texans are if the Texans stay at the 4 seed, and the Texans beat whoever they play, if it's Baltimore, if it's Pittsburgh, if it's the Chargers, if the Texans beat whoever the 5th seed is, unless 6 or 7 upset 2 or 3, Houston will have to go to KC in the divisional round. We've seen this movie before. If the Texans are the 3 seed, they are guaranteed not to go to KC in the first round because 3 will either play 2, or if there's an upset, if the upset between 2 and 7, like if 7 upsets 2, 7 will go to KC, and Houston will host the winner of 4 and 5. So the 3 seed could potentially give you, if you win the wild card game, potentially give you another home game in the second round. If you win seed, a lot will have to happen for you. Like the only way you gonna get another home game, is if both lows win. Like you would need both 6 and 7 to win for you to get a home game at the 4 seed, and more than likely you'll be going to seed. Now, if you're a 3rd seed, more than likely you'll be going to Buffalo in the second round. Uh, we know that just having an MVP season, so there is that. But I disagree with the rest of the stars. There's still a lot to play for. Not definitely, and also if you lose to Baltimore, you get them to win the second round. Right? So no, like it's go try to win this game. And I think they are gonna try to win this game. They're gonna try. One, they're gonna try to put on a show. It's Christmas Day. Everybody watching. It's a Netflix game. They ain't break out these H-Town Blues just not just H-Town Blues. I mean, if they was gonna rest their starters, trust me. If they gonna rest their starters, we will walk regular home games. If we gonna rest some starters, we was in regular home jerseys. We wouldn't have came out there. They ain't about to come out there in the town blue jerseys with Davis Mills out there and DP is the starting running back. They wasn't about to do that. They wasn't about to do that. And these H-Town blue jerseys because what we about to do. That's what, like I said, appreciate everybody that came out here. If you like button already, make sure you hit the like button before you go. If you haven't hit the like button, come on, man. It's Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas. We wearing the H-Town blue jerseys. If you right here, if you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit that like button. I'm gonna give y'all some time. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give y'all some time. Appreciate you for hitting that like button. Shout out to everybody that hit the super chat. Definitely appreciate that. Y'all don't know how much that means to me. I definitely appreciate y'all hitting that super chat. Love, I definitely appreciate that. Y'all really don't understand know how much that means to me. I definitely appreciate that. Uh, definitely appreciate that. Kid folk, what's good, Kid folk? Hey, what's up? What's up, Kid folk? Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you out there. Merry Christmas to you and the rest of the family out there, man. Appreciate you that, Kid folk. Appreciate that. Uh, so like I said, I have the Houston Texans hosting the Baltimore Ravens and coming out with the win, 31-20. I think that CJ has a solid game. He has a bounce back game for Tank. I think that Nico Collins goes out there and balls. I think Nico Collins goes up his claim to be the number one, the best receiver in the league. And I feel like he goes out there to the sounds of 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think that CJ throws around 270, 280. And I think that Joe Mixon, he goes out there and he goes out there and he shows that Derrick Henry ain't the only running back out there. They went from one team to the next and go out there and have a crazy season. So I think that all that, and also I think Stingley shows that he's the best cornerback in the league, and I think he goes out there, he makes a couple plays to the tune of also take one back to the house and get his first ever career touchdown. I think, period, NFL college. I'm pretty sure Stingley had an LSU touchdown. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know he hasn't had one in the NFL, and I feel like he was first NFL touchdown. I think the Texans, like I said, they beat Baltimore. I think Pittsburgh beats Kansas City, um, which means Houston would need to win next the following week and Pittsburgh to lose for Houston to seed. But so kind of Houston fans probably rooting for right on the cool. We were actually rooting for KC we actually rooting for KC in the early game because if KC beats Buffalo, if KC beats Pittsburgh, and then Houston beats Baltimore, that automatically put Houston at the third seed. Now they still have to handle their business against Tennessee. They still got to handle their business against Tennessee. But we'll see on the icons as when they on the graphics, we'll see the Texans at the 3 seed and not just the 4 seed. So I think that is exactly what we need. So again, Texas fans gonna be rooting for KC tomorrow. But Houston Texans go out there, they beat Baltimore, like I said, 31-20. And we're gonna see Nico and CJ go out there and play out a game. I think Steve has a game as well. And I think we go out there, we handle business in the H-Town Blue. Candy Blue, you already know what to do. Like I said, appreciate everybody coming through. I will go live after the game. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be in my mama's house. Because it's Christmas. So, I'm gonna go live after the game. Might excuse, extra noises, from people laughing and talking. I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. But I'm gonna go live at the game, especially when we get this dub. I gotta talk about it. So we gonna go live after the game for sure. For sure, for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. So, like I said, y'all be here right here immediately after the game. And just make sure you be here right after the game. Because just make sure you be here right after the game. I'm just saying, just make sure you be here right after the game. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.